Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today I'm going to be going over how I found a headhunter on the ground and how I'm getting apothecaries this league through my map atlas strategy. This is a high budget strategy that requires probably a magic find build in order to put it to its fullest potential because it is a wandering path atlas tree. And also I want to let you know that this is not a cheap investment into your maps, but with that being said, this is going to be a two-parter video. I'm going to have some gameplay in the background and I'll put things on the screen as we kind of go through and I explain what this strategy is all about. So I guess we'll start with the 8 mod corrupted map farming strategy, and I'll put the atlas tree on the screen and in the description. This strategy is made so that when you're magic finding, you can also be getting 8 mod corrupted maps for the map you're farming, since you're going to need them in order to do the main magic find strategy. The 8 mod corrupted map strategy has a total cost of 13.4 divines for 16 maps, mainly because of the expenses of the sextants. So the 4 sextants we'll be using is 2 additional abysses. Maps can be found 8 mod corrupted in your maps, 600% enraged strongboxes, and 3 additional strongboxes and their rare and corrupted strongboxes. For scarabs in the 8 mod strategy, we're running cartography scarab, divination scarab, abyss scarab, and ambush scarab. These 4 scarabs feel like the best when you're trying to focus mainly on 8 mod corrupted maps, and as you can see in the atlas tree, we're trying our best to have our maps be as high tier as possible. We're also taking singular focus and favoriting all the maps to be the one map you're farming for. This strategy can be done best on cemetery and or Crimson Temple / Defiled Cathedral, since we'll be farming for either Brothers Gifts or Apothecary cards. Off of doing about 200 maps in both strategies, for Cemetery versus Defiled Cathedral, I'm finding that Defiled Cathedral is providing a little more value because it requires you to find 8 Brothers Gifts for every 1 Apothecary. And when you're doing Magic Find, it's probably best to throw as much weight as you can into finding that 40 div card once instead of that 5 div card 8 times. Although, it's based on comfort and however you want to play it out, but profit margin speaking, I've been profiting more in Defiled Cathedral than I have been in Cemetery. Something I want to point out is that we're focusing mainly on Abyss in the map strategy, and I also want to point out that this 8 mod map Atlas tree is coming straight from Kobe Black Mamba, who's got, it's a great Atlas tree for 8 mod farming. So yeah, I do acknowledge that this is his tree, or, I got the idea from him. I also want to point out that Abysses have this funny little bug that's been going on where it can either get stuck in a crucible, which is really weird when it happens, but it can totally break the abyss and the abyss becomes stationary and doesn't work. And then also Infinite Abyss, which is the Stygian Spire spawns. You break the Stygian Spire and then the portal stays there and just spawns basic white mobs that don't give you anything over and over and over again. So yeah, don't sit there on an abyss waiting for it to break if it's just spitting out white mobs continuously and nothing else is happening. So yeah, that's mainly how the 8 mod mapping strategy works. Moving on to the other strategy I have, this is the Delirium strategy. So if you didn't know, Delirium has a passive area quant and rarity increase. So we're taking Mirror of Delirium in this strategy in order to get that extra increase. Now, the Atlas tree is also a wandering path strategy, but we're focusing not at all on dropping maps, and we're focusing on getting extra Delirium rewards, as well as putting a few extra points into Abyss. With the Delirium strategy, the difficulty ramps up tremendously, so, your build might not have what it takes to beat these. I even have bricked a couple of maps. In 200 maps, I bricked 2 maps. So one in every 100 maps I've been bricking. So it will happen if you think you're going to brick a map, or things are getting hard. Uh, you can either wait for the delirium to run out, and that'll decrease the difficulty, or you can loot what you can and get out. You know, just make it not a total waste. So for the delirium strategy, the cost is 10.4 divs for 16 maps. Uh, and then also 9 chaos for each 8 mod corrupted map you're running if you're not farming them yourself. So the 4 sextants we'll be running are: your map contains Mirror of Delirium, 2 abysses, and then 600% Enraged Strongbox and 3 extra Strongbox plus rare and corrupted Strongbox. So basically the same sextants, except we're replacing 8 mod with Mirror of Delirium. For the scarabs, we're going to be running Divination scarabs, Ambush scarabs, Reliquary scarabs, and Abyss scarabs. So we're ditching Cartography scarab and we're replacing that with Reliquary in this strategy. All of these scarabs should be gilded. Winged has not been worth it. Wings are too expensive. I've tried and tested. It's not worth it. But if you do find winged scarabs, I do suggest, instead of selling them, roll them in the Hoarder crafting station for ambush winged scarabs, and then take those into your maps whenever you find them. So on this strategy, the 8 mod plus delirium strategy, I have dropped 1 apothecary so far, and I dropped it in the first like 16 maps I ran. Since then, I think I've only ran on the delirium strategy for apothecary cards. I've ran about, I would say, about 60 maps now, and I found 1 apothecary. So yeah, far and few between. This is a solo MF build that I built out. If I really wanted to, I could push it even further, get more apothecaries, get maybe even a mageblood drop. But I did find a headhunter during my cemetery part of the farming. But I was using this strategy, and I had a party booster in the map, although I think the headhunter dropped when the party member died. So I'm not sure if that had any influence with it. I think I was just very lucky. So besides those 2 drops, the 8 mod map strategy, I dropped multiple raw divines, as well as at one point I dropped a double taste of hate, and a couple 7 years bad lucks, a dragon's heart, and enlightened. And this is in a 16 map sample size: 36 innocent and 22 lacrimal necrosis. So generally pretty good. Besides the double eight taste of hate, I mean, that's just the best thing that happened. But I'm dropping a couple divine uniques here and there. Aegis Auroras drop all the time, stuff like that. I also dropped a 3 white socket oppressor, which I thought was a squire, but it wasn't. So that was funny. In the delirium strategy, my best drop was a storm shroud, with honorable mentions being 2 Aegis Auroras, and then a bunch of other 1 to 2 divine random stuff that drops. And then also 1 Dragon's Heart, 1 Enlightened, the Apothecary card, 2 7 years bad lucks, 40 innocents, and 12 lacrimal necrosises. Again, this is in a 16 map sample size. So yeah, that's kind of my strategy that I've been doing for mapping. So far, I've accrued well over what I invested into this. I'll be putting out a video about how I rolled 100 div worth of elevated sextants to get my sextants, and kind of the results on how that panned out. So yeah, that being said, guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, because I'm sure I missed something, feel free to ask in the comments. Subscribe if you want to keep track of what I'm up to. I'm having a lot of fun doing the YouTube stuff. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. See ya.